Now on CoastTV News.
Budget breakdown, what's included in Delaware's new spending plan, and where all that money is going. Plus, heat wave hits, how to stay safe as we enter the heat wave, and where to find cooling centers across Delmarva.
Temperatures rising into the 90s today, but we are tracking extreme heat as the mercury rises into the triple digits through the holiday weekend.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. Today is Wednesday, July 1st. I'm Grace Eckerly and welcome to CoastTV News Midday. We start off with our top story this morning. Delaware lawmakers have approved a $1.25 billion capital budget for the next fiscal year. The spending plan includes $273 million for road projects, $24.6 million for economic development projects in Wilmington, Dover, and Georgetown, plus more than $24 million for affordable housing and economic development projects. Now, the new capital budget also includes funding for projects across Delaware as the spending plan sets aside $12 million to improve state parks. That includes Cape Henlopen, $13.1 million for clean drinking water projects, $2.5 million for statewide library construction, as well as $20 million for community nonprofit and municipal capital projects. Now, Delaware lawmakers have also approved a $99.4 million grants and aid budget for the next fiscal year. That package includes funding for senior centers, nonprofit organizations, fire and EMS companies, as well as veteran groups across the state of Delaware. It also provides money for paramedic services, transportation for those centers, for senior centers in Kent and Sussex counties, as well as emergency housing assistance. Now, Delaware lawmakers have wrapped up a busy session for health care as well, passing several bills backed by the Delaware Healthcare Association. The measure includes new protections against violence in hospitals, expanded access to hospital financial assistance, support for nursing training programs, plus a bill aimed at preventing private equity from buying Delaware's nonprofit hospitals. And Tuesday was the final day of the 153rd Delaware General Assembly. A voting rights bill is now headed to the governor's desk. The John Lewis Voting Rights Act creates new protections against voter suppression, vote dilution, intimidation, and deception. It would also require language assistance in certain local elections when there is need. If signed, the bill would give voters, organizations, and the Attorney General more ways to challenge election practices in court. Now, turning to take a live look in Rehoboth Beach. My goodness, look at all those umbrellas lining the shore. We are counting down the days until July 4th. And it's a hot one outside. To tell us more about this weather as we're heading into a heat wave, it's First Alert meteorologist Chris Nostrovano. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Grace. Yeah, those beaches are going to be quite packed in the days ahead, and folks enjoying the sand and surf here in Lewis. We have mainly clear skies. Right now, 84 degrees, the dew point 74, so humidity has increased tremendously across the area. Now, we had a brief shower that tracked through the bay and just grazed Sussex County with a little light rain earlier this morning, but we have high pressure building into the region, and that's going to be our dominant player over the next few days. Already feeling like 93 in Milton, 92 in Rehoboth, as those heat indices are going to continue to climb through the afternoon, feeling like 101 by around 4:30 in Georgetown, Lewis, 103 in Bridgeville, and this is only a taste of what's to come. Highs today, lower 90s inland through the midshore with lots of sunshine, upper 80s at the coast with a moderate risk of rip currents. We have that extreme heat warning now up for all of Delaware, expecting heat indices as high as 110 to 115. We'll track the heat coming up a little later on. Grace.
Thank you, Chris. Now some things to know. As we just heard from Chris, the sun will feel like it is shining extra bright this week as the heat wave is upon us. Temperatures are expected to reach into the hundreds over the next few days. According to Sussex County Emergency Services, that creates dangerous situations for some of us.
So the elderly, the young children, or those with pre-existing health conditions, they need to be aware and listen to their body. Drink lots of fluids, stay indoors, avoid the hottest part of the day, which is midday. If you have to go outside earlier in the morning or later in the evening and do whatever work you need to then.
The American Red Cross tells people to stay hydrated during heat waves by avoiding those sugary, caffeinated, or alcoholic drinks. Also, if you're sweating a lot, be sure to combine water with snacks or a sports replenishment drink to replace the salt and minerals that you may have lost. Some things to know as Sussex County officials say they're opening cooling stations ahead of Independence Day holiday. The county says the effort is designed to help people stay safe and avoid heat-related illness during the extreme temperatures. Air-conditioned libraries in Georgetown, Greenwood, Milton, and Bethany Beach, those will serve as cooling sites during select hours, with the Georgetown County Administration offices also available for relief. There are several more cooling centers available in Sussex County. Some of those include the cooling centers at the Adams State Service Center in Georgetown, the Laurel State Service Center, as well as the Shipley State Service Center in Seaford. Those buildings will be open from 8:30 a.m. in the morning to 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon through July 2nd. And in Maryland, Help and Outreach Point of Entry is saying that it's extending its days of operation to act as a cooling center over this weekend. The organization says in addition to its normal Monday through Thursday operating hours, it will open Friday, July 3rd and Saturday, July 4th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The cooling center is located in the basement of the Wicomico Presbyterian Church. And Maryland Governor Wes Moore has declared a state of preparedness ahead of this historic heat wave expected to impact Maryland. That order allows the state to coordinate resources before conditions worsen. Now, we do have more information and a full list of all of those cooling centers ahead of this heat wave on the article on our website now at CoastTV.com. So stay with us on Coast TV News Midday as we are counting down the days to Independence Day. After the break, it's the final America 250 special. From county council to the White House, Joe Biden's political career spanned more than 5 decades. We're looking back at the life of Delaware's first president.
The heat beginning to move into the region today, and the core of this heat will arrive Thursday through Saturday with temperatures rising above the century mark. Congratulations, Brian of Lewis, Delaware, on winning an umbrella from Coast TV. Your full 7-day forecast just minutes away.
America 250 on Delmarva, brought to you by Tidal Health Inc.
233 years after it became the first state to ratify the Constitution, the first person from Delaware was elected President of the U.S. Joe Biden brought global attention to the state and Rehoboth Beach area. Joe Biden's long career as a political figure began just prior to his 28th birthday, when he was elected to the Newcastle County Council. 2 years later, he was headed to the U.S. Senate, where he represented Delaware for 36 years. Due to Washington's proximity to Delaware, Biden famously commuted by train on a regular basis. His experience in the Senate led Barack Obama to tap Biden as vice president in a historic 2-term administration. In November 2020, Biden was elected the 46th President of the United States, the first Delawarean to hold the highest office in the land. Biden had to guide the nation through an unprecedented global pandemic and shape America's and NATO's response to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. During his term, the White House was his temporary home, but he was a regular at his Delaware house in North Shores. Time away from the intensity of Washington, D.C. meant some R&R on the beach. He served the public for half a century, and for over 70 years, Joe Biden has called Delaware home.
At the Tidal Health Family Medicine Residency Clinic in Salisbury, our dedicated team supports your family through every milestone in one accessible location. We provide comprehensive services including newborn care, routine checkups, illness visits, immunizations, and sports physicals. By combining a welcoming atmosphere with flexible scheduling and a team you can trust, we simplify healthcare for today's busy families. For more information, visit tidalhealth.org/yourfamily.
Grace, I'm looking for a spot on the beach here after the show. I can't find one. It is packed to the gills here in Rehoboth Beach. It's all right, I'm going to get a haircut after the newscast anyway, but this is the place to be over the next few days as the heat and humidity continue to increase over the region. 85, so we're going to put a little toasty on the beach as well with that wind very light out of the southwest. We're at 84 right now in Lewis, 85 in Georgetown. Look at these dew points. They have surged back into the 70s. which means it feels like 96 degrees in Milton, 92 on the beach there in Rehoboth, and it feels like 96 in Seaford. And these heat indices are only going to be increasing through the day today. Now, we had that one little rogue shower that passed through early this morning. Otherwise, it is bone dry across much of the east and Ohio River valleys as this area of high pressure settles in, and most of the shower and thunderstorm activity is going to ride the northern periphery of this ridge as it stays locked in place right through the holiday weekend. 97 to 105, that is just for the high temperatures. Heat index anywhere from 105 to 115 during the hottest part of the day. So highs today, mid to upper 80s along the coast, 94 Georgetown, 96 in Harrington, 87 in Nanacoke. It's going to feel like 102 in Seaford through the afternoon, 101 Millsboro, as well as in Lewis. And again, those heat indices are going to get even higher as we go into the day on Thursday. So we stay mainly clear through the afternoon and evening hours. Now, this particular model hinting at maybe another rogue shower passing through overnight. I think will be mainly clear, but again, can't completely rule that out into the overnight hours. And by tomorrow, you can see by 1 o'clock, we're already at 97 degrees in Georgetown. So again, mainly clear skies overnight, but a very warm night, 76 degrees. We're not going to get much relief at night throughout this hot stretch. Extreme heat warning through all of Delaware, Caroline, Talbot County. Still have that extreme heat watch up for Dorchester, Somerset, Wycomico, and Worcester counties, but expecting this to get upgraded here over the next 24 hours. Feeling like 111 in Millsboro tomorrow afternoon, 107 in Lewis, and then as we go into Friday, still with those triple-digit heat indices across the area as temperatures get into the low hundreds as we go into Thursday as well as Friday. Now, as we go into Friday evening, there's going to be shower and thunderstorm activity that develops to our northwest. We'll have to watch how that tracks. We could see an isolated thunderstorm in the wee hours of Saturday morning, which could bring a brief gusty wind threat. Now, the Storm Prediction Center has the entire peninsula in a marginal risk. Damaging winds and a downburst would be the primary threat with those storms. Now, we do have an isolated storm threat into Saturday, not all that widespread, but then as we go into Sunday, the cold front's going to be approaching closer, so we do have a more widespread risk of thunderstorm coverage. We have the red alerts in play Thursday through Saturday, 103. That would break a record high, 98 into Sunday with late storm chances, and then we see widespread storms into Monday. We're back into the 80s on Tuesday. Grace.
Thank you, Chris. Now coming up tonight on DSN at 7, it is live Carolina League Baseball when the Shorebirds continue their series against the Charleston River Dogs. Then catch the final score at 10:30. On DSN Plus at 5 p.m. it's CBA Summer League Boys Basketball Plus. Here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4 o'clock.
Happy Wednesday, Coast Life. Let's see what's coming up today on the show. We're taking you inside historic Lewis ahead of America's 250th anniversary to see what you can expect this upcoming weekend. It's also supposed to be hot this weekend, so if you are planning on being outside, then we have some sunscreen that you can be applying too. And then lastly, we also have our Coast Life Pet of the Week, a cute, adorable puppy coming in from Brandywine Valley SPCA that you can see up for adoption. All that fun and more coming up today at 4 on Coast Life.
Things to know, Maryland cracking down on local drivers with out-of-state plates. Starting on October 1st, state leaders say vehicles with out-of-state license plates but owned by Maryland drivers will be given a written warning. Then the owner will have 60 days to change their plates or apply for an exemption. After those first 60 days, the owner will then be fined $7 a day for another 60 days. After the total of 120 days, local jurisdictions can bring civil action against the owner that includes impoundment, towing, and/or booting in Maryland. And a new travel option set to take off at the Salisbury Airport starting today. Breeze Airways will begin their nonstop service between Salisbury and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Flights are scheduled for Wednesdays and Saturdays, as the inaugural flight is set to arrive around 7:30 tonight and depart around 9 o'clock. The new route expands on Breeze's existing services connecting Salisbury to Orlando. Still to come, protecting your pets from the heat. What shelter experts are recommending if you must take your furry friend outside. Stay with us after the break. New this morning, A heat wave hitting Delmarva Peninsula, and there are things you should be prepared for. Now, those scorching conditions, they're not just unsafe for people, but those conditions can also impact your pets as well. If you have dogs at home, keeping them inside is the #1 thing to do. According to the BVSPCA, it's best to avoid those peak heat hours when walking your furry friend.
If your dog needs a short walk in the morning, great. Let them, go out in the morning and then wait until the heat of the day is over to take them out again. If you have a dog that does have to go outside more frequently than, say, every 5 or 6 hours, make sure it's a very, very short walk.
Paige says that if your dog's an outside dog, make sure they have good shade and plenty of water. You change it several times as it can get hot. Also, good practice to avoid walking your dog on hot black pavement as it can burn their little paw pads. And you can test that by putting your own hand on the pavement to see if it's too hot for you. We'll be right back.
You can get your latest forecast by calling our First Alert weather phone, sponsored by Broxton Mandalas Federico. 5-day UV index forecast shows 10s right through the start of the weekend. Yeah, the UV index can be very high, so make sure you plan accordingly and pack that sunscreen on and always protect your skin well out in the sun. 100 for our Thursday, 103 into Friday as we continue to see triple-digit heat indices right through the weekend. It's going to feel as high as 115 at times. Can't rule out an isolated storm chance Friday and Saturday night. Better chance of widespread shower and thunderstorm activity. Does roll in sunny through Monday with a cold front, and that will put an end to the heat wave and the 90 and 100-degree temperatures as we fall back into the 80s into next week. Grace.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, very important to take care of yourself and your pets in this heat wave. And I thank you for joining us on Coast TV News Midday. If you would like more local news and weather, be sure to download our Coast TV News app. And don't forget to join us back here for Coast TV News at 5 and 6 later this afternoon. Until then, have a great day.